Breaking from the North, Philip Teresi, Saturdays 11 to 1 on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
He's acting on his own.
Where your calls and tweets are welcome.
You can come out of the shadows.
The number 490-5858. Tweet us at KMJ Now.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Live, local, and on it. It's Philip Teresi.
The eyes of the world are watching.
Philip Teresi.
On News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
11:07 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good morning. My name is Philip Teresi, and if this is not what you were expecting, well, welcome to the club. We got a new lineup here at KMJ, and we're going to explain what's going on a little bit. We're not going to make a huge thing out of the new lineup, but a change has been made, and the man most directly affected by that, besides myself, Craig Hansen, is here. Craig, thank you for hanging out for a few more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
So we found out, I guess about the time that Cumulus took over, that Radio Tradio's days were numbered.
Yeah, and that's been, a year, I guess. Cumulus bought mid-November of 13.
Yeah, and there was a lot of conversation about it, and there was a lot of hesitation. People were scared of getting rid of Radio Tradio because it's been here 30 years.
30 and a half years.
30 and a half. Now, did you host it for all 30 years and 6 months?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
You know what? It's like, because there was Sunday for a while back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So I figure probably around 2,000 shows and at least 125,000 calls.
Oh, man. And of those 125,000 calls, how many of them tried to give the 559 area code?
Too many. In fact, I was almost going to joke, the reason why the show was canceled is because people would not stay off the area code.
Because Benny couldn't sell the bowling balls and kept saying 559.
Yeah, but that is a thing of the past now.
So this is a big deal for you. I mean, this is a change in what you do with your weekends.
Well, it's not that big a deal because I still do the car show,
yeah,
which in a week from now will also hit 30 and a half years. I still do the real estate show with Brad. It turns me loose a little bit earlier in the day. I mean, now I get done at 11 instead of at 1, but I don't have to do the Radio Tradio. That's true.
Did you come to KMJ with Radio Tradio, or how did you get locked into being the guy?
Back in 84, they wanted to start to do more live programming on the weekends.
Yeah.
And so management had called me in because I was doing some other things at the time, and they said, we want to do this show. It's actually nothing new. It was popular in the Midwest in 30s and 40s radio, and they said they want to call it Radio Tradio and take calls and have people sell stuff, and they want me to host it. And I said, what am I supposed to do? And they said, just get on there and take the calls. And so we started on May 19th of 84, and we did it for 2 weeks, and the response was such that it immediately went to 2 hours from 1 hour. And then by the end of 84, it was on 2 hours on Sunday. It was 4 hours.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
You said you think you've taken over 100,000 calls.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And I actually, when I first came to KMJ, I got my turn in the weekend rotation screening calls for you. And there's some folks that stand out. Like I was joking about Benny and his bowling balls.
Right.
Is there any one or specific caller that stands out in your mind as the quintessential Radio Tradio junkie?
Oh, there's a lot of junkies. You're asking me how I feel about Radio Tradio being gone, and I can talk about that in a couple of minutes. I kind of felt sorry for some of these people that this was their life on Saturday to listen to this show. But I don't want to leave out a couple of regulars, but I mean, one of the first that comes to mind is Bill, who recently passed away back this spring.
Oh, wow.
He coined the Radio Tradio special, and I always enjoyed talking with him. And there was a guy who years ago who also passed away who lived in Clovis, and I called him Mr. Haney because he sounded just like Mr. Haney on Green Acres. He had kind of that voice, that delivery. But there was a lot of others, too.
Well, and I mean, there's a couple of folks that I remember just from the little bit of time that I was there. Like I said, Benny with his bowling balls, Letitia from Hanford. That woman must have an entire jewelry store worth of jewelry waiting for people to come pick it up.
Which I found kind of odd because she was constantly having to move from one apartment to another and looking for Section 8. And I thought, how does somebody who has difficulty with resources have this endless supply of jewelry?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's an odd quote, like maybe she inherited. For some reason, I was picturing her making it. That like she somehow had come into the materials and was just sitting there producing jewelry and trying to get it out.
On the Anything Goes day, she would sell stuff at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a pop. So
This wasn't homemade nonsense.
No,
This was good stuff.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Well, it was a fascinating show, and in both of our interests, I have to say, neither you nor I made this call, and in fact, not even Blake Taylor made this call. This actually came from our corporate office.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of a shock to some people that are listening who really liked Radio Tradio to now find out that just like that, it's been severed. It was not a local decision. Cumulus is like, the second largest holder of radio stations in the United States next to Clear Channel.
Yes.
And so this was a corporate decision. They own the radio station. They have the right to do what they want to do. And as you mentioned, there was discussions for a while that something might change. I didn't know about it until just a couple of minutes last Saturday before I finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's funny. I went home. I find out about 10 minutes left, 15 minutes left during a commercial break that Radio Tradio is going to wrap up. And, was I going to say anything? I was asked, and I said I was kind of taken back for a minute just because it was so fast and abrupt. And I just thought, no, I think I'm just going to ride it out like any other day. And then I kind of felt sorry for the show going home. I said, okay, so I'm not doing it anymore. I don't have a problem with being on the air. I've been on the air for so long, that's not a big deal. And I've always told people I like the car show, being a car guy. I do real estate as well, so I enjoy spending time with Brad. Those were always two shows that I enjoyed more than Radio Tradio. But I thought, gosh, it's like this thing was born. It had this long life, and suddenly, just like that, almost like falling off a cliff or a guillotine, it's done. It's over. But everything has a life cycle. Everything has a shelf life. I think the difference, though, with Radio Tradio is that its popularity never did wane, and so it goes out as a show that had a huge following.
It's going out on top. So do you have plans to start a Radio Tradio podcast?
No. No, if you've done over 100,000, 120,000 calls in 30 and a half years, I mean, I'm planning to probably start cutting back on some other things in the next 3 years. So, I mean, mentally, I had thought, let's just say they'd left the show alone. I probably would have backed off it after a few years and cut back my Saturday. Now, of course, they've already done that for me.
Well, that does free you up. Now you're able to take off a little bit earlier when it's time for a weekend on the coast.
And you now are going to kind of adopt the lifestyle that I've had for the last several decades, and that is somebody who's already working Monday through Friday.
Yes.
Who now has to come in on Saturday, who now, interestingly enough, like I did, gets off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You've got your Saturday afternoon, your Saturday night is your free night, and you have only Sunday. And now when you want to go out of town or do things, people go, gosh, how do you structure anything when you got Saturday in the way? And you say, well, you occasionally take a few off, but you got to learn how to work around it. You start to gravitate more like, well, I need to take a Monday, Tuesday because I got to work Saturday.
Yeah.
Because Thursday, Friday doesn't work if you got to be back Saturday.
Exactly. And so now I anticipate a lot of Monday colds.
Yeah.
Craig, dude, thank you. 30 and a half years of Radio Tradio, and it went out on top, man. I mean, the phone calls, everything, it's been huge. And I appreciate you hanging out for a few minutes and helping us put it to bed.
Sure, you bet. And good luck with your show. I know you'll do well with it.
Thank you very much. I am Philip Teresi. This is the Philip Teresi Show. I don't think I'm going to name it. And you're listening to News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
When it matters most and news is breaking, the Valley locks it right here.
The most sweeping immigration policy change in decades.
Our immigration system is broken, and everybody knows it.
Bringing you breaking news at the top and bottom of every hour, 24/7 on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Chris Daniel for Sleep Train in Clovis, Visalia, Merced, and multiple locations in Fresno, including the brand new store on Shaw outside of the Fashion Fair Mall right next to David's Bridal. And there and at every Sleep Train, the mattress price wars continue. But they end soon, so you might want to hurry up. And you definitely want to beat Black Friday in that madness. Today's a much better day to check out the mattress price wars. Sealy Posturepedic and Simmons Beauty Rest are going head-to-head, saving you up to $400. You can get 36 months interest-free financing on Tempur-Pedic and iComfort. You step right up to the top of the heap. You pay no money down today on approved credit with equal monthly payments required. Plus, get 2 free bonus pillows with the purchase of any new Tempur-Pedic mattress. That's a $300 value and worth it. And you can add a Tempur-Pedic movable base and get an additional savings of up to $500. And there's even more. You can save up to $600 on Stearns & Foster mattress sets and up to $300 on Sealy Hybrid. And you'll always get free red carpet delivery, Sleep Train's 100-day low price guarantee, and their 100-day comfort guarantee. At Sleep Train, they really are your ticket to a better night's sleep.
At Fresno Madera Farm Credit, agriculture is our only business, and we're proud to say that we've been serving the central San Joaquin Valley for over 95 years. Our loan specialists understand the unique demands, risks, and rewards of the ag industry, and they recognize that a personal touch is essential. We offer a wide variety of financial products and services to meet your personalized needs. As a patronage-paying cooperative, we believe a long-term commitment to our customers is based in years, not dollars, which is why our goal is to be your ag lender of choice. With offices in Fresno, Madera, and Kingsburg, our staff is proud to offer competitive rates and flexible lending programs to 2 of the most productive counties in America. Call us today at 559-277-7000 or visit fmfarmcredit.com to see why local farmers and ranchers have relied on us for generations. Fresno Madera Farm Credit is an equal opportunity lender.
My holiday and Christmas parties are legendary. In fact, after the big one in 2001, I had a stroke. That's how legendary they are. But legendary for real, you will be when you're entertaining this holiday season, when you get all the stuff. At Lou Rodman's Barstool and Dining Superstore, you need 2, 4, 6, a dozen, 2 dozen bar stools? He, of course, has got them. Also, bars, poker tables, and pub tables. And I hear it now, you forgot to order one of those very beautiful Amish dining sets from the master craftsman Noah Bontrager. Hey, listen, there's plenty of them on display in the store. They're ready for immediate delivery, so you haven't lost hope yet. And the bottom line is the bottom line with Lou Rodman. He'll beat it every time. The lowest prices in town. The lowest prices in the state, the lowest prices in the country. Hey, you get the picture. He'll beat everything. And you can still special order items for holiday delivery. You just got to put the hustle on it. Lou Rodman's Barstool and Dining Superstore on Blackstone between Bullard and Barstow at Auto Center Drive. And the quality of these items is off the graph. There's no junk here.
Premier Renewables is the premier solar energy company for the agricultural industry, specializing in solar for irrigation pumps, packing sheds, dairies, cold storage, and more. Call us today at 559-869-8694 or visit us on the web at premierrenewables.com.
Philip Teresi, Saturdays 11 to 1 on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
11:20 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good morning. Happy Saturday morning. I'm Philip Teresi. And I am now your Saturday morning and afternoon host from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is what we're going to do. And I invite you to the conversation, 559-490-5858 or 800-776-5858. You can also find the station on Twitter and Facebook at KMJ Now. I got to take just a minute more to say thanks. This is a big change. It's also a huge opportunity for me. Chris Daniel is He's been a very good friend for a very long time. And I wouldn't be at KMJ without Chris. He picked up the phone and invited me to come be his producer here. And by the way, I am continuing Monday through Friday as Chris's producer in the afternoon drive slot. Blake Taylor, the new program director of KMJ, he hasn't been in the job long, and he has had a lot put on his plate, and he's been incredibly supportive. And he was the one who put me up for this when it was determined that Radio Tradio was no longer going to be there. And Patty Hickson, our general manager, she's just an amazing lady and unbelievably supportive. So I want to thank Chris, Blake, and Patty for giving me the opportunity to do this. And I want to thank you for being here. Like I said, anytime you want to jump in on the show, 559-490-5858 or 800-776-5858, online, Facebook and Twitter at KMJ Now. Oh, and tech show stuff. Yes, we're going to do it. It's not going to be the entire show. But coming up in the second hour, I've got some tech news for you guys, and we'll even give it a try, see if we can take some phone calls. Now, I talked to Dan Gaynor from the Media Research Center. He's the vice president of business and culture for the Media Research Center about what's going on in Ferguson. This story is insane and heartbreaking, and it seems like the story itself has gotten completely out of control. So earlier this week, I took a couple of minutes to talk with Dan about what's going on in Ferguson and what might be helping and what might be making it worse. You're listening to the Philip Teresi Show on KMJ.
Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. You must disperse immediately. This is no longer a peaceful protest when you try to injure people. You must disperse now.
As the FBI prepares for a decision in the grand jury trial of Officer Wilson in Ferguson, Missouri, that could possibly lead to violence, the networks have done nothing to appeal for calm, or almost nothing. According to a Fox News op-ed by the Media Research Center's Dan Gaynor, ABC, CBS, and NBC have all hyped the potential for violence once a verdict is reached, rather than using their platform as an appeal for calm. They'd rather air stories like Ferguson braces for the worst, or Ferguson residents prepare for war. And NBC's even promoted Al Sharpton's presence as a peace mission, despite, well, being Al Sharpton. Dan Gaynor is the Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center and the author of The Michael Brown Case, Media Hype Trump's Appeal for Calm in Ferguson at foxnews.com. Dan, thanks for making time for us.
Happy to do it. This is certainly one of the big news stories of the day, and the media are doing everything they can to hype it and get the advantage of ratings ultimately at the expense of people who live in Ferguson and maybe people who live in urban areas around the country.
Well, and first of all, a grand jury in a situation like this, I'm assuming that you're not a lawyer, but you got to have some experience with this. Grand juries are not war tribunals. They're basically a committee of prosecutors deciding whether or not they should move forward, right?
Well, they're not committee prosecutors. I mean, they summon a grand jury. You can be summoned to a grand jury.
Got it.
But what they do, present evidence in front of them, and then they decide whether there's enough evidence, sufficient evidence to indict somebody. And by our reports, the legal experts seem to think that Officer Wilson will not be indicted, but the problem here is the media have made it so that everybody thinks the world will come to an end. The ABC did a series of graphics. City on edge, gun sales soar. City on edge, Ferguson braces for the worst. Well, speaking personally, I can think of a lot of things worse than the rioting they had, several months back. That doesn't mean it's a good thing or it was great for people in the city, but that seems to understate the possibilities of far worse bad. I mean, it's not like there were thousands of people killed or even the 60 killed in the L.A. riots. I mean, this is a minor thing. Well, what the media are doing is taking minor things and blowing up. Last weekend, they had a protest of a little over 100 people, blocked a couple streets, people laid down in the street, and somebody put chalk outlines around them.
Yes, the die-in, yeah.
Yeah, fairly standard lefty agitprop. That's what they do. A little over 100 people on all three broadcast networks.
But you've got a couple of dozen chalk outlines in an intersection. This is not London after the Blitz.
Yeah, no, and I mean, if you look at the March for Life, which has a couple 100,000 people attend, they're lucky if they get one network covering them. That's what I mean. When you're overhyping, no one cares what 100 protesters think. No one in the United States cares what 100 protesters think. No. It is not a viable number for a protest. And in fact, the Ferguson protests earlier this year reached a point of, of lack of viability, to where I was personally convinced watching that there were as many or maybe even more journalists covering them than were actually in them.
Well, and Dan, I got to ask you, is this a case of some of those old dogs in media trying to learn new tricks? I was quietly encouraged. Last week we had the Philae Comet lander. Then we had Kim Kardashian mooning everybody. And the day after that, the denials by Nancy Pelosi of her knowledge of Gruber came out. And on Twitter, the top trending stories on Twitter, it was Break the Internet at number 3, the Philae Comet lander at number 2, which did my heart a world of good to see people care more about that than Kardashian's butt. And then on top of that was Gruber. Are these networks misunderstanding Twitter as a source or as a bellwether?
Well, I mean, they only care so much. They are leaders of opinion, they don't want to be followers of opinion unless it's something that they want to follow. So if there's a cute cat video, or actually dog video, as one of I think it was NBC did last night, if they can hype dog videos, they're happy to do that. But when it's something they don't want to talk about, even with the comet landing, the reason for some of that attention was Shirt Storm, where the guy who was the lead in the comet landing wore the controversial shirt that feminists didn't like. So that was part of the reason why that was trending on Twitter.
Is this a matter of kind of blindly reacting to new media, or is there an agenda at work here?
There's always an agenda at work, and sometimes it's conscious and sometimes it's unconscious. But journalists bend over backwards to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. That's one of the guidelines of journalism. But when they comfort the afflicted, what they end up doing is really spinning left-wing opinion.
Okay.
The people in Ferguson who are unhappy and who want to protest, and then the minor number of people from that who are unhappy and want to cause trouble, these are small numbers, but the media give them outsized importance. Well, it's like Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton. No one cares what they think, but the media have dubbed them African-American leaders.
Well, and this is exactly why I brought up social media. We had, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie The Purge, but there was some excitement about there was going to be a real purge. And one of the cities that was affected by this social media nonsense was a town called Oildale that's about 90 minutes south of us. And it got its mention on the news, and everybody showed the posters and the scary purge mask. But at the end of the day, it really was a couple of idiots with anonymous Twitter accounts just being stupid. Does the media, are they out combing for the one guy who says he's buying more bullets to turn that into people in Ferguson, gun sales go up 900%?
Well, I mean, there clearly are some people buying more guns. I mean, that happens. But
sure,
to some extent, they're making things worse by who they tend to focus on. CNN had somebody on the other day who was they give a platform to a guy who said he's a Palestinian citizen journalist who's in Ferguson, and he's wishing people would die and stuff like that. I mean, These are folks that journalists wouldn't have given the time of day to in the past. And now the crazier, the more radical you sound, the more likely it is the media are going to put you on.
So is it Is it a shift from it bleeds, it leads to whatever will slap somebody in the face, period?
Well, it's not that what bleeds is, what leads. It is, it's what will get clicks. What will generate traffic, what will generate buzz, even if it's irresponsible or stupid.
So in this specific case, in Ferguson, I'm a big fan of playing follow the money. Who benefits, who profits from all this fear in Ferguson? I mean, is it Smith & Wesson? Is it the government? Is it just the media simply driving traffic for themselves?
Well, I mean, certainly one of them is the media. I mean, they get more views. I mean, we all saw how CNN turned the plane crash, the Malaysian plane crash, into a cottage industry.
Yes.
I mean, that's so some of that is going on here in Ferguson. Also, it fits. There's a lefty political dynamic at play here, and while that might not generate money, it still generates support. So what they're doing is promoting left-wing politics.
We're talking with Dan Gaynor, Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center, online at mrc.org, about his latest story for Fox News. The Michael Brown case, media hype Trump's appeal for calm in Ferguson. We'll have a few more minutes with Dan when we come back. I'm Philip Teresi, and you're listening to KMJ.
Let's be honest, we all want to be green, right? I mean, saving the planet is cool, but why does going green always seem to cost so much green? What if you could go green, get a brand new car, save a ton of money in gas, and do it for under $100 per month? Yup, I'm talking Fiat. Fiat of Fresno has a new 39-month lease for just $199 per month on a brand new 100% electric Fiat 500e. No more worrying about gas prices. The Fiat 500e from Fiat of Fresno is completely fuel-free. Plus, San Joaquin Valley residents can qualify for up to $5,500 in clean air rebates. Apply them to your payments, and the cost of leasing is under $100 per month. Come test drive this agile, quiet, cutting-edge vehicle today. Get into Fiat of Fresno on Blackstone between Bullard and Sierra.
39-month lease on approved credit from Chrysler Capital. $995 down payment, 0 security deposit, lessee responsible for annual excess of 10,000 miles per year at 25 cents per mile. More than 5 at this offer, plus tax, license, and government fee, any document processing charges, and any electronic filing charge and emission testing charge. Cost of lease claim does not include charging costs.
What are you paying for electricity? How about nothing? For a whole year? Call Peterson Dean's Solar for America and get 12 months same as cash. Lock in one low rate for 30 years or more. How low? About 7 cents per kilowatt hour. That's below baseline and way below your average. In fact, it's the cheapest power you can buy in California. If you've had it with your electric bills, it's time to flip off your power company and flip on the cheapest power you can buy. Solar for America. 800-425-1950. Zero down? Check. 30 years in business? Check. American made? Check. The other guys? You better check. Go ahead. Flip off your power company and flip on Solar for America. American made through and through, and the best warranty in the business. 800-425-1950. 800-425-1950. California CSLB 468-117.
There's an old saying, the longest journey begins with a single step. This is Al Smith from Murphy Bank. Congratulations to the Heart of the Horse Therapy Ranch, recipient of this month's Spotlight on Small Business Award from Murphy Bank. Guy and Carrie Adams weren't planning to start a horse therapy operation when they leased a 20-acre horse ranch back in 2009, but then a 4-year-old girl with cerebral palsy rode one of their horses. And as Guy says, that little girl in a wheelchair changed my life. He couldn't stop thinking about it. The magic, by the way, is all in the horse's movement. It's movement that helped a 19-year-old girl take her first steps and a young boy say his first words, Mama. Now, 5 years later, it's clear that the heart of this horse therapy ranch isn't just the horses and special needs kids. It's also every single volunteer and supporter who keeps the magic going one step at a time. Amen, and congratulations to the Heart of the Horse Therapy Ranch.
For 25 years, the smiling faces at Murphy Bank have been helping fund small businesses like yours in our valley. Murphy Bank on the Palm Avenue side of Big Garden Village. Member FDIC.
Looking for a place to eat that's different? Not the same old chain. You found it. Gurry's Grub House is now open. One in-house cherry wood smoked meats, artisan pizza, house-made bacon. It's at Gurry's Grub House. Enjoy 24 different craft beers and handcrafted cocktails from their full bar. Located on Cedar and Shaw. Gurry's is the perfect place to host your holiday parties, too. Grown here, farmed here, raised here, eat here. Gurry's, it's the place.
Hi, this is Mike Sherinian from the Elbow Room.
And this is Dave Fansler from Pismo's Coastal Grill and Westwood Barbecue, and we are the restaurateurs.
Chefs, recipes, restaurants, and great stories from the kitchen.
Join us every Saturday at 1 o'clock on KMJ.
Feeding your ears with delicious conversation.
Join Mike and Dave, the restaurateurs, Saturday afternoon at 1, broadcasting live from the Elbow Room at Big Garden Village in Palm and Shaw. Exclusively on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Philip Teresi, Saturdays 11 to 1 on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
How can peace be restored in Ferguson? Stop showing the world that reacting instead of thinking. Get themselves together and do, just be, it's not doing anything but make things worse.
It's Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
I am Philip Teresi, and this is News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Telephone number 559-490-5858 or 800-776-5858 if you want to discuss anything you're hearing right now. Coming up this week, huge Black Friday sweet deals blowout, 75 to 80% off certificates for restaurants, spas. I don't know why that. Restaurants, spas, golfing, and more. They're going to go on sale Friday at midnight at kmjnow.com. This morning, we are joined by Dan Gaynor. He's the Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center, online at mrc.org. We're talking about his latest story for Fox News. The Michael Brown case, media hype trumps appeal for calm in Ferguson. Dan, going back to what you said about the profit behind the media hype in Ferguson really being the promotion of left-wing politics, what agenda is being served beyond white people suck?
Well, I mean, this is a foundational event to possibly boost the left, which is really pushing income inequality, racial inequality, etc. The more that they can turn Ferguson, the problems of Ferguson, against the man into a national issue, the more they have a chance of getting their word out nationally, because that's what they want to do. That's what. They don't care about the people in Ferguson. They just don't.
Well, and I think you're absolutely right. They don't care about the people in Ferguson, or they wouldn't be winding this up to this fever pitch, because the more attention that they pay to the knuckleheads, the Palestinian boy who wants to see people die, or the goober with the Juggalo Hatchet Man tattoo and the purge mask, the more knuckleheads that are going to come out of the woodwork to participate in this. But Is there anybody actually benefiting from the attention that the media is paying? Is there, even though it's a leftist agenda in some ways, is there anything to be said for police on minority violence, or is this dialogue just spun so far out that it's lost any traces of relevance to that?
Well, I mean, I think. In theory, that's one of the topics we're talking about. In practice now, everybody's just using it as a way to either defend against someone levering their agenda or someone levering their agenda. The protesters want to make their point, and they don't care what they've got to burn or direct to do it. The police want to successfully stop all this without getting a black eye themselves.
Sure. Now, you had mentioned in your article that you talked a little bit about MSNBC's coverage of Al Sharpton being out there. And I can't remember a time when Sharpton actually did anything but talk and stirred the pot. What good does Al Sharpton's presence do, even in the minds of the people who support him, beyond simply managing to get one more camera squeezed in?
Well, I mean, Al Sharpton goes out there. He promotes MSNBC. He gets treated like a leader by NBC. I mean, this is the same guy from the Tawana Brawley case.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a racial uniter. This is a guy who's a career divider.
he's really only benefiting himself and whoever he's currently functioning as a mercenary for. He's not going to do the families of Ferguson any demonstrable good.
Oh, and he's doing himself own good. I mean, that's one of the commonalities here. You remember Dan Rather?
I do.
Dan Rather became famous because Dan Rather was an on the spot on air guy for a hurricane. If you're a journalist and doing a hurricane and you survive, okay, you can make your career. Dan Rather did. If you are a journalist and you're covering race riots, similarly, you can make your career.
And so this is really about self-promotion, full stop.
Well, that's certainly part of it. I mean, the Sarah Seidners of the world, from CNN and some of the others who are there, they know that if they do a good job, the whole media world particularly is going to be watching them. They can come back and their ticket's written. That's it. They're done.
Do you think somebody like Sarah Seidner's ultimate goal is to evolve into Nancy Grace?
I don't know if she wants to be. I don't think anybody really wants to be Nancy Grace, including Nancy Grace.
But she looks so cute on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, good gosh! But I mean, I think all of them want what we all want. I guess is more success in their career, more money. That makes sense. But I think too many of the people who are going to this event, too many people who are out there at the protests, are using it to leverage their own careers, and that's dangerous.
Well, and we're talking with Dan Gaynor from the Media Research Center. Dan, is there when is the old media, when is the old guard really going to wake up to MRC is a thing? Newsbusters is a thing. Twitter and Facebook and God help me, Snopes are all out there. You get somebody like this. There's another story that you cited in your article involving ABC correspondent Steve Asanami, where he had gone in and, CBS's Michelle Miller, where she had sat down with Pastor Robert White, and White had basically said that the quote here is, "We're getting prepared for war," and that's just crazy. She doesn't take this and in context show Robert White saying this whole thing's insane, everybody needs to take it back 10%. She selectively edited that, didn't she?
Or she may not have, but somebody at CBS did for the CBS local, and then you end up with a situation where they cut the second part of his quote out of the headline and they hype it. It's like, we're preparing for war, and people look at that and go like, well, they're preparing for war. But it's taken completely out of context. So instead of the guy who said it sounding sane, like he doesn't want war, it sounds the exact opposite. If I had been him, I would have been really ticked off.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm amazed that there isn't some kind of legal repercussion for that. I mean, you're completely reversing the person's intent, the spirit of the thought. But is it just that CBS St. Louis is unaware that the rest of the planet can also see Michelle Miller's original interview? Or do they just not care?
I think there's a lot of the latter. One of the things you'll find consistently among journalists is that they don't care if people accuse them of bias. They don't want to acknowledge that bias exists.
And that to me is the most insane thing of all. I can't think of a point in my life where we were more polarized as a country and where we were more hyper aware of the media than we are right now. And yet the media is just going to carry on fat and sassy doing whatever they do. And, we put it on the table, you're going to eat it. Do you see any inclination towards a shift, or is this where the internet's going to end up being the savior for people who are actually seeking, facts?
Well, I mean, the internet could be a savior, could also be a villain. I mean, there's so much information that you can go and find, 9/11 truther websites that tell you that that the planes didn't really hit, and things were melted with explosives.
Sure.
I mean, that's silliness too. So, I think what's happening is we get so much information that it's become increasingly difficult for people to process it all. And that, in theory, leads you to the opportunity for editors and specialty sites. But in practice, people are not figuring out how to monetize the whole life of journalists.
We're talking with Dan Gaynor, Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center, and discussing his article, The Michael Brown Case, Media Hype Trump's Appeal for Calm in Ferguson. That's available right now at foxnews.com. Dan, is there... My God, I don't know the right word for this without saying a bad word. Is there a way for people to cut through the shenanigans and get an objective view of what's going on in Ferguson? Because I do think that there is an important human story there. Where do folks go to just get a legitimate, straight answer right now?
Well, you can't. The only thing you can do is try to read multiple sites, multiple articles. I mean, part of the problem is the press is so blatantly anti-police, reflexively, and sometimes police do wrong things, and I accept that, but they're reflexively to the point where you won't really see the police view in a lot of this. You'll see the PR people, but you won't see the cop on the street whose wife is getting threats and he's afraid for his family and is afraid that somebody's going to just start shooting police, and I've got to be calm, but they don't, and so there's no real one place. The best thing I can suggest is that you try to read a variety of media.
Just go wide and employ a little common sense.
Yeah, something like that. The problem with common sense is this: it's not common.
Yes. Dan, I really appreciate you making time for us today. It was very helpful and enlightening.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Dan Gaynor is the Vice President of Business and Culture for the Media Research Center, online at mrc.org. His latest story, The Michael Brown Case, Media Hype Trump's Appeal for Calm in Ferguson, is available for your reading pleasure at foxnews.com. My name's Philip Teresi, and it is 11:48 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Coming up tonight at 6, Hometown Heroes. They founded a new time, and that is it. If you're looking for Hometown Heroes, it won't be here at the top of the hour. You're going to get more of me. But 6 o'clock tonight, Hometown Heroes with Paul Loeffler is back. Also on the way, some local stories. Fresno State has a new athletic director, finally. A woman involved in a physical attack that involved stripping a rival gang member gets some jail time, and you reduce the number of smokers, you kind of create a new problem. We're going to find out what, courtesy of Aaron Abadia and KMJ News. This is News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
I'm really trying to redefine the hearing aid in general. Today's modern hearing aid is vastly different from your father's or grandfather's hearing aid.
Nathan Lev, owner of Sound Advice, with an eye-opener for our ears.
We've got hearing aids now that are directly linked to iPhones. You can stream phone calls directly from your iPhone to your hearing devices without any intermediate piece at all. If you're on a jog and you want to listen to music, you stream music directly from your phone to your hearing device.
Sound Advice, with new innovative products and the best possible care by a licensed hearing aid professional.
Well, I'll be happy to give somebody a consultation. There's no cost to that. I'll give you all the different price points and then shop around, because you have to find not only a device that suits you, but a provider that suits you as well.
Begin your quest for better hearing. Call Sound Advice at 579-1310 or visit online at hearingaidsfresno.com.
Oh, wow. What was that noise?
I'm not sure, but it's been getting worse. I think it's my brakes.
Well, if you think you need brakes or at least need them checked, Electric Lab offers free brake inspection, and they do an excellent job using top-of-the-line brakes. I just had mine done.
Oh, I know that name, Electric Lab. They've been around for years and have that super clean full-service auto center on Sierra between Blackstone and 41.
I'm Mike Thibodeau, Service Manager at Electric Lab. You can count on us to do it right.
Electric Lab on Sierra between Blackstone and 41. Call 448-8300.
Hello?
Oh, hey, Allison. I took your advice about taking my car to Electric Lab. They treated me really great. It really is a clean place. Everything was explained to me in terms I actually understood. Got the courtesy ride back to work without waiting forever. Oh, that reminds me. Jim wanted to have his truck serviced, too. After all, Electric Lab is a full-service automotive center, and, gotta go.
Hi, I'm Mike Thibodeau, Service Manager at Electric Lab. My colleagues and I are dedicated to providing you the best and most pleasant experience you can possibly have.
Electric Lab on Sierra between Blackstone and 41. Call 448-8300.
Folks, this is Chris Moran from Solar Negotiators. Do you dread paying your power bill every month?
Give Solar Negotiators a call. Are you sick and tired of wondering whether you should lease your solar or purchase? Then give Solar Negotiators a call. Do you want to make sure that the company that installs your solar is local and that your products are American-made? Then come visit Solar Negotiators at Herndon and Milburn, and we will show you how our clients save thousands over those big out-of-town companies. Do you want a company that will maintain your solar system and clean your panels and provide you with a third-party warranty? Then give Solar Negotiators a call. Do you want to be installed quickly and pay no money down and get financing as low as 2.99%? Then give Solar Negotiators a call. Do you have a proposal from another company and you just want to double-check your price? Before you sign the dotted line, give Solar Negotiators a call at 559-458-9965. That's 559-458-9965. Or visit solarnegotiators.com. When contractors compete, you win.
This Friday at 9 a.m., the KMJ Sweet Deal of the Week goes live. It's so sweet that we only have limited quantities, and you don't want to miss out. Go to KMJNow.com, click on the Sweet Deal, and start your weekend out with terrific savings.
The Crawdaddy's legend goes that the little creatures are descendants of the Maine lobster. And nobody does lobster better than Crawdaddy's. On Main and Bridge in Visalia, hand-cut, prepared fresh seafood and the biggest lobster in town. Wait till you try one with a big, fat, juicy steak and in-season steamed veggies that are never overcooked. An elegant dining experience awaits you on the second floor at Main and Bridge in Visalia. Crawdaddy's. Let the good times roll.
To snap up this offer, go to KMJNow.com, click on the Sweet Deal tab, sign up, and we'll remind you when it goes live this Friday at 9 a.m. Remember, quantities are limited and you don't want to miss out. Act now to get the biggest deals delivered right to your inbox.
Breaking from the north, Philip Teresi, Saturdays 11 to 1 on News Talk 580 1059. KMJ.
11:52 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. I am Philip Teresi, and coming up, we're going to talk with Fresno City Councilman Steve Brandow. There was a water vote on Thursday. Turns out there was actually two, and we got some genuinely good news, along with an opportunity to be heard on our opinion of the new water plan that's going to ultimately cost the city $429 million. Also got tech stuff coming up next hour. I'm going to do a little bit of tech news, and if you're interested, if you'd like, I'll take your phone calls at 490-5858, 800-776-5858. See if we can't dispense a little wisdom or, at the very least, kill a segment. Hey, congratulations again to KMJ Afternoon Drive host Chris Daniel. I love the story, the way it was posted up at KMJNow.com. Local man wins bronze head. Chris picked up the Ronald Reagan Award for his work with veterans in the community at the 2014 Sunbird Conservative Banquet earlier this week. He and Charlie Waters both won the award, which, by the way, is a large bust of President Ronald Reagan. If you guys want to see more about that story, you can check us out online at KMJNow.com or look for the, I don't know what it is about seeing it in print, but look for the mention on Facebook at KMJ Now. Something about local man wins bronze head just made me smile. So a couple of news stories here, a couple of local news stories here. Fresno State's got a new athletic director, and Joseph Castro welcomed Jim Bartko from the University of Oregon. He's going to start at the first of the year. Bartko is a Central Valley native. He's from Stockton, but right now he's the executive senior associate athletic director for the Ducks. I think this is the guy for the job. He helped raise over $375 million for capital improvements and facility enhancements at the University of Oregon. He's going to be coming to Fresno with a wife and two kids, and $375 million into Fresno State's facilities would be a really good thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing this guy get to town and do a little bit of work. Also locally, courtesy of Pablo Lopez in the Fresno Bee, a Fresno woman has been ordered to spend 113 days in jail in connection with the beating of a woman who was ordered to strip on a public street, a crime that was video recorded and posted to Facebook. Lindsay Starkey joins Baby Dreamer. They're going to do time in the Fresno County Jail. Because of time served, Lindsay only has 60 days left on her jail sentence. Starkey and Baby Dreamer both pled no contest to robbery and street terrorism, according to the court records. So she's really only going to do 60 days, and then she'll have a whole pile of probation to occupy her time as she lives down beating and stripping another woman on a public street. I understand getting mad at somebody, but that was an odd one. And finally, from KMJNow.com, and Aaron Abadia, I don't know that it's a local story per se, but oops. Reduce the number of smokers, you create a new problem. Anti-smoking campaigns and restrictions have been successful in California, and they've curbed tobacco use. But agencies who rely on the funds generated from cigarette taxes are going to have to find a new revenue source. Apparently, they've been too good at their job. Tobacco taxes brought in $835 million last year. But that's a decline of several hundred million over the past decade. First Five California, who's supported by the taxes, is amongst those backing taxes on other products such as e-cigarettes and even marijuana, should California eventually legalize the drug. But recent efforts to impose additional taxes on tobacco have failed. I'd be curious to hear what you got to say about that. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. We might have just a couple of minutes before we talk with Fresno City Councilman Steve Brandow about some good news out of City Council about your water rates. It's coming up after CBS News on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
Breaking from the north, Philip Teresi, Saturdays 11 to 1 on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
He's acting on his own.
Where your calls and tweets are welcome.
You can come out of the shadows.
The number 490-5858. Tweet us at KMJ Now.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Live, local, and on it. It's Philip Teresi.
The eyes of the world are watching.
Philip Teresi.
On News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
So dramatic, so intense for a Saturday afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. 12:06 on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ. I am Philip Teresi, and if you were here looking for Hometown Heroes, they have been rehomed. 6 p.m. tonight, the new time slot for Hometown Heroes with Paul Loeffler. And yes, for the 700 people who have called to tell me that I am evil. I understand you're unhappy. Radio Tradio's gone. Some of you are unhappy anyways. But it was not my decision, and if you guys want to talk about that, you need to call the program director, and I'll let you find that number on your own. But if you want to join the conversation we're having here, it's 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. You can also play along on Twitter at KMJ Now. Same for Facebook, facebook.com/KMJ Now. I'll get you to the show, get you to the station. So we had a vote this past week at the Fresno City Council Hall, and it was, I think it was a good thing. At least the parts relevant to water. I can talk. Say I'm a professional. Yep. It's Saturday. What do you want? Joining us now for a recap of Thursday's City Council meeting, the chair of the San Joaquin River Conservancy and Fresno City Council District 2 Councilman Steve Brandow.
Hey, Philip, it's great to be here. Great to be a part of your inaugural show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's an exciting change, and I can't wait to see how much hate mail I get for Tradio being dead.
Hey, I like Tradio, but at the same time, I'm really going to like listening to you. I do a lot of my carpet cleaning work on Saturday, so I'll have a chance to listen to your show. I look forward to it.
Right on. Well, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to the feedback because I have no idea what I'm doing. So you guys had a unanimous vote on Thursday. You went 7-0 in favor of the new water plan, and it sounds like this really was the best option we had in front of us. What was your feeling on what the administration brought out?
So in my comments, I made a couple of criticisms that I think we could have done things even still a little bit better. But overall, I think the administration did a great job trying to reach out. For instance, I listen to KMJ all the time, and I heard every night that there was going to be one of the public meetings.
Yeah,
I heard about it on KMJ. Come tonight at 6 o'clock, or come, in the location and time, or tomorrow night is the last opportunity to come hear about the water plan and get your input. So I heard about it all the time. So I think that the administration did a great job reaching out to the public, which was our big failure, Philip, last year when we really began this process. So many of us felt like the city didn't do a great job communicating with the citizens, or even giving the citizens the opportunity to communicate back with the city. So in the last couple of months, that's what we did. We kind of reversed ourselves in the summer. As you know, we rescinded our vote. We started over again. We engaged the public, and some of this all came as a result of a lawsuit, and that is what it is. Like, citizens have the chance to speak to government. And
and the lawsuit was a big deal. Doug Vagum really did not pull his punches. Was he there last night, and did he weigh in on his opinion of this plan?
Yeah, he was there, and he weighed in. He was substantially muted than I've seen him in the past. So I even asked him questions like, Doug, have we answered, most of your concerns? And it seems like that he wished the process was still better. He had thought that it was going to be more of a round table with himself, in the middle of the round table. We didn't quite do it that style. The city had all kinds of public meetings where he had a chance to talk, but I don't think it was as intimate as he thought it was going to be. That's the one thing that he expressed at the meeting. But what I asked him was some of the technical things of attacks that he had of the water plan. Specifics about the plan itself, he seemed to have been now much more in agreement with. So it seems like some of his big concerns about developer, one of the things that he brought forth earlier in the summer was this is all about developers. I think that's been shown that that's not accurate. This is about the whole city of Fresno. So everybody in the city is going to benefit from this, not just people on the south end of town, not just developers. This isn't about some future big development. And so I think some of his concerns were met, but then others were not. But I don't want to speak for him, but that's kind of how he expressed himself at the meeting itself.
Well, and I have every intention of talking to Doug in the future, but Mr. Vagum being such an outspoken critic of the methodology and the previous plan, I was curious what the impressions were there. Now, does this new plan, first of all, the plan actually ended up, the price tag went up about $20 million. Was there any explanation why that we went from $409 to $429?
Yeah, there's a couple of physical components that drove the price up. So Phil, and I don't want to get deep into the weeds, but we hired a management company to oversee the plan. Uh-huh. And once they got engaged, they noticed that we had a problem, which was we were going to deliver the water to the surface water treatment plant in an open ditch. And we were going to acquire the land and bring in an open ditch to deliver the water to the surface water treatment plant. Well, when that management team saw that, they checked in with the state of California. There's an oversight committee whenever you do a project like this.
Of course there is.
And yeah, exactly, Philip. And that state organization did not want to let us use an open ditch to deliver the water. It needed to be a buried pipe. So it's going to be a huge pipe. I think it's like 5 or 6 feet around. It's going to deliver the water instead of a ditch. Now, the water is coming straight out of the mountain, so the water is going to be cleaner. That's a nice thing.
That's a plus.
Won't be any opportunity for contaminants. That's great, but it's just a lot more money. And for the state of California to do the few things that they were going to do, they're going to give us a zero-interest loan or a low-interest loan on a good chunk of this money, but that was the requirement. We had to get the water delivered in a pipe instead of an open ditch, and the price tag, Philip, for that alone was about $50 million or somewhere in that vicinity.
Oh.
So the truth is, Philip, the city did a good job reducing the price of the project from the original concept 8 or 9 months ago. But this one thing contributed so much money that it actually is a bigger price tag in the end than the one we were, originally talking about 6 or 9 months ago.
Well, and delays cost money, and I had heard that there was simply for the delay that we experienced, that there was something like an $8 or $9 million consequence there.
Yeah, you're right, and that's the next big component. So the real hardware feature of that ditch versus the pipe was one big component, but also the 15-month delay that we, to reprocess the 15-month delay cost us $8.6 million. So it's one of those things, Philip. You have to ask yourself: was it worth it to delay it, to go through this process? Doug and some other citizens, wanted us to re-examine the project. We did all that. We were much more upfront with the citizens.
Sure. The
citizens are going to get a notice. In the past, we just send out the notice with their water bill. Well, the truth is, Philip, a lot of citizens don't even read that accurate. They just look for how much do I owe? $90. Let me pay $90. This time, we're sending out a protest opportunity for the citizens, completely separate. It's just by itself. Citizens will say, oh, okay, you know what, I'm against this or I'm for it, and they'll have a chance to. So we've done some of that stuff, which I think is valuable, and I agreed with Doug Vega that it's good, that we needed to do a better job reaching out to Fresno citizens, but the price tag of that delay is $8.6 million. So it's quite a chunk of money, just the 15 months that we've taken off for this. That's huge. I can't honestly say that it's absolutely positively not worth it, because I think education is an invaluable thing. At the same time, even Lee Brand said last night at the meeting, I'm paraphrasing here, you'd have to live under a rock not to know what's going on with Fresno's water woes. Right. And Philip, there's been one other big piece of information that's happened in the 15-month delay. The time that we've taken off is the state of California has passed a Water Sustainability Act, which now everywhere in California, whether you're a municipality, a county, or just a citizen, if you pump water out of the ground, you have to replace it at a 1-to-1 ratio.
Whoa.
So, oddly enough, this project that the city of Fresno is about to embark on was already going to accomplish that. We were going to finally stop our overdrafting of the aquifer, and we were going to use surface water. And so that was going to bring us in balance with our own aquifer. But the rest of the state of California will be playing catch-up. So a lot of the things that we were already going to do are now basically mandated. So if we would have known this, Philip, 9 months ago when we rescinded our vote, I think we would have had to look at it completely differently, because at that time we were thinking, okay, maybe the citizens don't want this, maybe kick the can down the road another 6 years or whatever. But the truth is, now the state of California wouldn't have allowed us to kick the can down the road anyway, so it would have been mandated. So it is what it is, and that's all transpired just since we rescinded our vote here in the early summer.
Steve Brandow represents the 73,000 constituents that make up Fresno City Council District 2, in addition to his new role representing Fresno as our voting delegate for the California League of Cities. Before we slide off into an inevitable and gratuitous text segment, we'll hear some good news about your water bill and your winter watering schedules when we get back in just a minute. I'm Philip Teresi. This is KMJ.
A lot can happen in 15 minutes. Events that can change lives forever. At KMJ Radio News, we're on the job 24/7. Nobody covers your world better. Stay connected and check in often. KMJ News. Reported online and on demand at KMJNow.com. KMJ.
Chris Daniel for Sleep Train in Clovis, Merced, Visalia. Lots of locations in Fresno, including the brand new location on Shaw Avenue outside the Fashion Fair Mall right next to David's Bridal. And the mattress price wars are going on with just across-the-board blowout savings on just about every brand of mattress that's worth selling. That's all Sleep Train carries. But with all the $600 off here and $500 off here and $300 off here, sometimes what Sleep Train does every day gets kind of lost, and it needs to be mentioned once in a while. Everybody gets free red carpet delivery service. That new mattress comes like that. The old mattress goes away, and you think you'll miss it, but you won't. And, of course, they set it up for you. Then there's the Sleep Train 100-day low price guarantee. You've got up to 100 days to prove that somebody else was selling that mattress at a lower price. If you pull that off, good luck, by the way. They won't just match that price. They'll beat it by 5%. And then my favorite, although I think it's crazy, the 100-day comfort guarantee. You get 3 months to bounce around before you say, I don't like this bed. Please exchange it. That's right. That's Sleep Train. And they really are your ticket to a better night's sleep.
This holiday season, TNT Liberty Safes wants to thank you for your business. And what's important to you is important to them. Protect your family's valuables from fire and theft. A Liberty Safe is the standard by which other safes are measured. All safes are UL listed and fire certified and come with a lifetime warranty and satisfaction guarantee. Liberty Safes are proudly designed and built in the USA, and the technology advancements allows extra features to be built into their safes. Features such as lighting, deluxe accessory door panels, and dehumidifiers to keep your valuables dry. Your valuables never had it so good. At TNT Liberty Safe will give you peace of mind. Please check them out for holiday specials. TNT Liberty Safes is located at 2700 Clovis Avenue next to Valley Rod and Gun, or call 291-4270. That's 291-4270. That's 291-4270. Or go to their website, TNTLibertySafes.com. Is it safe or is it Liberty Safe? TNT Liberty Safes.
I was hungry, and you gave me food.
I had nothing, and you gave me everything.
I was an outcast, but you accepted me.
Hi, I'm Reverend Larry Arce with the Fresno Rescue Mission, where we provide food for those who are hungry. Help us feed families in need by making a donation today. With just $1.47, you can feed someone who would otherwise have nothing. By giving to the Fresno Rescue Mission, you're giving people more than a meal. You're giving them a chance at a new beginning. Every dollar touches the lives of so many men, women, and children who are in desperate need of hope. Help give that hope today by making a donation online at FresnoRM.org. That's FresnoRM.org.
Thank you for being so kind to me and my mommy.
Thank you for teaching me how to believe in myself.
Thank you for giving me and my family a chance at a new life.
Fresno Rescue Mission, because hope begins with a meal.
Did you purchase a new gun recently? Do you know how to use it? Take that new gun to the firing line, an indoor shooting range in Clovis, where you can get lots of practice. Check them out at thefiringlineclovis.com.
Saturdays 11 to 1. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
What world event concerns me the most and why? I would say the issue with clean drinking water, because it's really having an effect on overall quality of life.
Live, local, and on it. It's Philip Teresi.
Philip Teresi.
On News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
1221 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Fresno City Councilman Steve Brandow currently serves as the chair of the San Joaquin River Conservancy. He's a board member to both the Fresno County Transportation Authority and the Economic Development Corporation, and he represents Northwest Fresno as the District 2 councilman. We're talking about Thursday's unanimous decision by the Fresno City Council to advance Proposition 218 and to now put this water plan in front of ratepayers for approval. A months-long delay brought on by concerns about the legality of the mayor's water plan and the way it was implemented came with an $8 million price tag. That's right. A delay cost $8 million. But it turns out that the complaints about implementation may have been moot. The mayor's plan is actually just getting us compliant with new state standards, which makes me wonder, did the state of California cost the city of Fresno $8 million simply by withholding their new standards?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. You know, all of that stuff has been brewing for a long time. As a matter of fact, on KMJ, I've heard John Brodsky talking about that's coming up. This is coming up, and now it's here. I totally agree. That's one of the problems with government, Philip. As you know, the right hand doesn't tell the left hand what it's doing, and all of a sudden, you know. And now it's a mandate. Now we have really no choice. To be honest, Philip, we did have a choice 9 months ago. We could have said, you know what, let's kick the can down the road. Let's let somebody else deal with this sometime in the future.
Sure.
But, you know, now that's not an option. What would have happened if we would have tried that stunt? The state of California would come into our city, which we have a charter city, and they would have told us this is how the horse eats the corn. And they would have said, you guys have got to do something to balance out what you're taking out of the ground. And so, you know, the good news is if we do this project, there's one more vote, Philip, coming in February.
Yeah.
That will be the final vote. And if council kind of follows through what it voted on the other night, then we will be ahead of the game for the first time in a long time. And other communities will be really fighting to get up to where we're at. And then you're going to see a lot of communities have to take the painful step that we just took, which is some rate increases. So, it's good and bad all the way around. It's going to be nice to have Fresno be on top of something for once, but at the same time, none of this is good. To the citizen, Philip, they don't want rates to go up ever.
No,
really.
of course they don't.
That's what's going to happen.
Well, now the ballots are going to be mailed out December 22nd, and this is the ratepayers' opportunity to weigh in on whether or not they want to approve the Proposition 218 water plan. But these ballots go out on the 22nd. You got 45 days to return them, and then the final approval at City Hall is going to be February 5th. Mm-hmm. But based on what you're telling me, this water plan brings us into compliance with what the state wants. If the voters do end up rejecting this, what do we do? I mean, we're not in compliance with what the state wants, and our infrastructure is not meeting its needs. What is it? Just back to the drawing board?
Well, so it will be back to the drawing board, but it will be without us. The pen won't be in our hand. The pen to do the drawing at the drawing board will be in Sacramento's hand, and that's really dangerous, Philip. So the language for the Sustainability Act, the Water Sustainability Act, reads something like this, and I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
At this time, the state of California is giving counties and municipalities the opportunity to create their own solution. However, if you don't create a solution that replaces the groundwater that you use, the state of California will come in and create a solution for you. That's basically, I'm oversimplifying it, but that's basically the language. And that's real dangerous, Philip. That means they can come in and say, this is what you're going to do. Oh, but we needed this. Well, it doesn't matter what you needed. Here's what you're going to do. Here's the time you have to do it. Here's the rates you're going to pay for it. And it will be completely out of our hand. We won't be able to mitigate any of the things that are specific to the city of Fresno, and that could be really damaging. And I feel bad for other communities who are definitely going to have to probably be staring at the state doing that.
All right. That's I don't know if that's reason enough to approve it, but I think that it looks like a good plan. I mean, would you agree that at the end of the day, the bottom line is this is not this Proposition 218 water plan works for Fresno?
Yeah, it's going to take care of our infrastructure needs for a long time, and it's going to provide exactly what you and I have been talking about for the last 15 minutes. It's going to provide all the heavy capital projects. This is not lightweight, fluffy administration stuff. This is hard assets that will deliver water to Fresno, all of Fresno, for years to come. But I wanted to add one more thing, Philip, so I need the listeners to hear this.
Yeah.
One of the concerns, and one of the reasons I think originally it was a 5-2 vote, and Councilman Olivier and Councilman Quintero were no votes. And one of the concerns was the rate structure, the prices are going up too high, too fast. So one of the good things that when we got to relook at this project is we adjusted those. We added another year. So it's like buying a car. You can pay it off in 3 years, or you can stretch it off, make the payments a little lower, and pay it off in 4 years. And so we added a 5th year to this. So to give you an example, in year number 1, the average household rates were going to go up, I think it was $8.
Yeah.
Now they're going to go up something like $4.
Oh, wow.
And then year number 2, and so in the end result is the same. 5 years from now, the rates will have gotten close to doubling, but the process is a little bit slower, a little bit easier for people on a fixed income, elderly, and people that aren't without jobs. It'll be a little bit easier for them, but it's still rate increases, Philip, and they're never fun. for anybody. So
rate increases aren't great, but it seems like Fresno has been blessed with exceptionally, possibly irresponsibly low water rates for a long time, and giving folks 5 years to adjust to the temperature of the water in the pool. I think that's completely reasonable.
it seems so. You know, at the public forums that we have, that the city held, there were a lot more people than we all thought. I remember the day, I think it was on Chris's show, you guys were joking around like, how many people are going to come to these things, 15, 20?
Yeah.
Well, the truth is we had about 150 people, and they probably on average, which is surprising for a Fresno City public meeting, because they're typically very boring, let me say, almost as bad as a council meeting. But they brought in a professional facilitator. They gave people a chance to talk. They vetted a lot of opinions and a lot of ideas. And what we heard the other night was that most of the people in front of us were supportive of the plan. So I don't know if that speaks for the city at large, but for the ones that came out to the meeting the other night was a lot of support, with the exception of Doug Bacon himself.
Fantastic. Well, Steve, this sounds like we're headed in the right direction. And I wanted to finish with just a little bit of what I think is good news. You guys had another unanimous vote on water issues. We get to keep watering our lawns.
Yeah, we get to keep watering our lawns. And that's thanks to Councilman Brand and Councilman Capriolio passed an act, a conservation act for the city of Fresno that changed the parameters a little bit, and we get to keep watering our lawns through the winter time. We had 0 watering days for the winter months. And now we get to go for 1 day a week, which is at least helpful. That will keep your grass or your lawn or your landscape surviving the winter if we don't have much rain. You know, of course, we're all keeping our fingers crossed. My backyard is like weeds are sprouting everywhere just from the rain we had a couple weeks ago. So I think that it's really good that we can keep watering throughout the winter at least 1 day a week and keep us caught up.
Steve, thank you for making time for us today. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Fresno City Councilman Steve Brandow.
Hey, thanks, Philip, and look forward to your show in the future as well.
Fresno Water ratepayers, owners, and renters, all Fresno Water ratepayers should look for Proposition 218 ballots after December 22nd. You'll have 45 days to return your ballot, and the final approval meeting will be Thursday, February 5th, 5 p.m. in the council chamber at Fresno City Hall. The new watering schedule as of December: odd numbers get to water on Saturday, even numbers on Sunday. It's 1 day a week. It's going to keep my lawn alive. My name's Philip Teresi, and you are listening to News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. If you're looking for Radio Tradio, we understand that the newsroom has gotten calls. There may be a government conspiracy at play that has taken Radio Tradio off the air. I assure you that's not true, but we'll double-check with the KMJ News team just to be absolutely certain. We're also going to get into some tech news. Ars Technica has put out their 2014 gift guide. And how about a little bit of anti-malware, anti-surveillance software, courtesy of Amnesty International? It's all coming up. My name's Philip Teresi, and this is News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Let's be honest. We all want to be green, right? I mean, saving the planet is cool, but why does going green always seem to cost so much green? What if you could go green, get a brand new car, save a ton of money in gas, and do it for under $100 per month? Yup, I'm talking Fiat. Fiat of Fresno has a new 39-month lease for just $199 per month on a brand new 100% electric Fiat 500e. No more worrying about gas prices. The Fiat 500e from Fiat of Fresno is completely fuel-free. Plus, San Joaquin Valley residents can qualify for up to $5,500 in clean air rebates. Apply them to your payments, and the cost of leasing is under $100 per month. Come test drive this agile, quiet, cutting-edge vehicle today. Get into Fiat of Fresno on Blackstone between Bullard and Sierra.
39-month lease on approved credit from Chrysler Capital. $995 down payment, 0 security deposit, lessee responsible for annual excess of 10,000 miles per year at 25 cents per mile. More than 5 of this offer, plus tax, license, and government fee, any document processing charges, and any electronic filing charge and emission testing charge. Cost of lease claim does not include charging costs.
My holiday and Christmas parties are legendary. In fact, after the big one in 2001, I had a stroke. That's how legendary they are. But legendary for real, you will be when you're entertaining this holiday season, when you get all the stuff at Lou Rodman's Bar Stool and Dining Superstore. You need 2, 4, 6, a dozen, 2 dozen bar stools? He, of course, has got them. Also, bars, poker tables, and pub tables. And I hear it now, you forgot to order one of those very beautiful Amish dining sets from the master craftsman Noah Bontrager. Hey, listen, there's plenty of them on display in the store. They're ready for immediate delivery, so you haven't lost hope yet. And the bottom line is the bottom line with Lou Rodman. He'll beat it every time. The lowest prices in town, the lowest prices in the state, the lowest prices in the country. Hey, you get the picture. He'll beat everything. And you can still special order items for holiday delivery. You just got to put the hustle on it. Lou Rodman's Barstool and Dining Superstore on Blackstone between Bullard and Barstow at Auto Center Drive. And the quality of these items is off the graph. There's no junk here.
Mike Dermanuel Jr. of the Dermanuel Insurance Group talks about his company's mission.
The last 10 years have been a magical transformation for Dermanuel Insurance Group because we've gone from a firm primarily interested in insurance products to a firm that's primarily interested in delivering those insurance products, but also this companion mission, which is to help our clients get better.
Here's what Mike has to say about the accountability of Dermanuel Insurance Group in our community.
We're accountable to our community. We're not accountable to shareholders. We're not accountable to make a PE ratio. We're not accountable to make target rate of return. We're accountable to help our clients get better and help their job become easier. Our priorities are straight. Our priorities are public. If you go to our website, dmig.com, you'll see our values and our beliefs. It's our performance values. It's the standards that we set that develop the trust. And it's transparency.
Dermanuel Insurance Group. Visit dmig.com.
Being willing to not place any limits on what you're willing to do for people that place their trust in us.
License number 0640827.
Daniel, for solar negotiators, where it seems to me it's always a win-win. Try this out. Give Solar Negotiators a call with the bid you have. And here's what's going to happen. They're either going to save you thousands, or you have the best deal. They're an advocate, and they're kind of like having a solar realtor, except you don't have to pay them. Because Solar Negotiators has no allegiance to any contractor or any one type of equipment. The sole purpose is to get you the best price, best financing, and the best equipment for your situation. So even if you have a proposal from another company and you're just a little leery, you're not sure, don't find out the hard way that you could have saved thousands. At least you'll really know what your options are. Get information, be impartially informed, and then make your move. Something else, too. Going solar is not just an upfront thing. Solar Negotiators offers 10-year maintenance, cleaning, and third-party warranties external from the solar contractor. Folks, this really is the total package. So buy local, but buy smart. Solar Negotiators, 559-458-9965 or solarnegotiators.com.
Premier Renewables is the premier solar energy company for the agricultural industry, specializing in solar for irrigation pumps, packing sheds, dairies, cold storage, and more. Call us today at 559-869-8694 or visit us on the web at premierrenewables.com.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter. A flood watch takes effect tomorrow in Buffalo, New York, where more than 7 feet of snow could quickly turn into a flood as the temperatures climb. Governor Andrew Cuomo.
I hope the weather change is gradual. I hope we don't have a flooding problem. I hope we don't have a building collapse problem. And I hope it was just a lot of long nights for nothing.
He's dispatched every agency to Western New York to help.
We feel good about the level of preparation, not just in terms of resources, but also in terms of personnel.
In West Seneca, New York, CBS's Jerika Duncan says people are trading shovels for sandbags.
Officials say that more than 1,600 trucks have moved more than 32,000 tons of snow. And city and towns across Western New York are preparing for the flooding by giving out sandbags to many residents here.
CBS News Update, I'm Pam Coulter.
Philip Teresi, Saturdays 11 to 1 on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
1238 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. I am Philip Teresi, and this is my show. There are many like it, but this one is mine. If you're looking for Hometown Heroes, they have a new time. Hometown Heroes with Paul Leffler, now airing 6 p.m. Saturday on KMJ, so 6 o'clock this afternoon you'll be able to catch up with Paul. So, as a lot of people have noticed, Radio Tradio is not here. It's no longer with us. We talked with Craig Hansen at the beginning of the show on his feelings. Craig Hansen was the one, the only, the original host, 30 years and 6 months of Radio Tradio. And It's gone, guys. It's gone. And it was not a local decision, so don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at Blake. And certainly do not be mad at Craig. I think it was a little bit of a bittersweet moment for him. But I'm getting reports from the newsroom of a government conspiracy. Is this correct?
Oh, it's very much correct. We've had a lot of calls this afternoon on the news line. Talk line's apparently not the area they wanted to hit. But I got a call from a gentleman about 10 minutes ago, and he said that he went through 200 personal extensions calling the main line trying to find the program director, and said he didn't get anything, so he somehow got to my extension, my personal extension here, and wanted to know why it was that we took Radio Tradio off. I explained that it wasn't our decision, and he said, it's a government conspiracy. I knew it. They hit you before, and they're coming after you again. Radio's gone. Pretty soon we'll lose the gospel show. We'll lose all of the other programming, Hometown Heroes.
And no, we're not, guys. It's first of all, it's vouch for me, Aaron. This is not a government conspiracy.
No, I, as an unbiased newsman on this station, can tell you it's not. It is not a government conspiracy.
You guys would lose your minds if you knew how old he actually was. So just the one gentleman insisting that this is a conspiracy.
And then I got another gentleman who wanted to know, and this gentleman, I'm not sure if he had a full set of choppers, so to speak. Take that as you will. But his question was, where's that radio at? I need to share this trailer I got here.
Oh, man. Well, that's too bad.
I referred him to the Internet, but he said that he has never used a computer, that he's afraid of the Internet, so...
and that's too bad. And I know there's going to be some people that are a little bit put out by the change. Aaron, thank you very much.
Hey, before I go, yes. I must say, my conversations with you in the hallway, all the things we talk about back here, to see you finally have a show, a place that you can share this with the public, fantastic. Those of us in the newsroom give you a big thumbs up. This is going to be the show. And to all of you listeners, you will appreciate this for many years to come. Radio, bye-bye. Philip Teresi, hello.
Oh, thank you very much, Aaron. Hopefully the heart attack doesn't get me before the listeners do. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. If you'd like to participate in the show, we just finished talking with Fresno City Councilman Steve Brando. A little good news about watering your lawns. Ballots will go out as far as the Proposition 218 rate plan. You'll have 45 days to approve after you get that, and then early February, they're going to sit down in the Fresno City Council chambers at Fresno City Hall and ultimately decide whether or not to pass the Proposition 218 water rate change, which will gradually bring your rates up over the course of 5 years. But good news, effective December 1st, normally under Stage 2 water restrictions, there's zero watering. And now, thanks to a unanimous vote, again, by the Fresno City Council, you will be able to water 1 day a week. For more information, go to fresno.gov. So I promised that I would do some tech stuff here. And that's one of the things that I've been known for at KMJ. It's probably, if you don't listen to the Chris Daniels Show, it's probably the only way you know me, the guy that comes in and drops a little knowledge on Ray or on John or on whomever when it comes to matters of internet and other geeky things. And it is not my entire life, and it will not be this entire show. But if you have a tech question and you'd like to get in with that, 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. You can also try on Twitter. I'll be honest, I've got like 4 computer screens going here, so the social media thing's probably going to be mainly before and after the program. But I had mentioned a piece of anti-malware software that is being promoted by Amnesty International, and that was not an exaggeration, not a joke. Detect, DETEKT, has been released in partnership with Amnesty International, Digital Gesellschaft, which means something in German, Electronic Frontier Foundation, and Privacy International. It's a free tool, and it scans your Windows computers for traces of FinFisher and Hacking Team RCS. These are commercial surveillance spyware that have been identified, and it's also that have been specifically identified, Detect is also used to target and monitor human rights defenders and journalists. No, this is what I get for reading this thing on the air. The software, FinFisher and Hacking Team RCS, are being used to target and monitor human rights defenders and journalists around the world. Detect, its function is to go in, find that software, and let you know that it's there. And I'm not clear if Detect is actually removing that software, but there's been a huge growth in recent years in communication surveillance technology. You guys know this. And Facebook's actually run by the CIA. In all seriousness, with every bit of information that you contribute to your own profile, by using a smartphone, by having social media accounts, by logging onto free public Wi-Fi, more data is being gathered about you every day. And for most of us, it's probably not a very big deal that, Starbucks knows that you come in every Monday and get yourself a peppermint mocha. On the other hand, there are people around the world, journalists, dissidents, political operatives, even folks from intelligence agencies who are being targeted. And this software is going to allow them to do a little bit better job protecting themselves. If you'd like to check out Detect, go to resistsurveillance.org. Again, DETEKT if you want to run it through Google, or resistsurveillance.org. A little bit older school technology. Landline phone deregulation has gotten its initial approval from a House of Representatives panel. Monday, lawmakers moved forward a bill that will allow phone companies to discontinue basic landline service in certain areas once they receive final federal approval. Right now, phone carriers are carriers of last resort. What that means is if you have copper going to your house, you have the ability to call 911, even if you don't pay for phone service. They're also required to offer discounted phone service for low-income and no-income folks. And we all pay a little bit for that. You'll see it on your bill. But the FCC is saying, no more. And the revised proposal will give phone companies the right to give consumers 90 days notice instead of just 30 days of their withdrawal from the service area. Now, you can petition the Public Utilities Commission if you're unable to obtain voice service from voice over internet or from another provider. What's strange to me here is that the House Agricultural and Natural Resources Committee approved the provision as part of a large environmental bill. Shouldn't this be in front of the Public Utilities Commission, not the House Agricultural and Natural Resources? Somebody snuck this into a bill. And, guys, I got to tell you, it's not a good thing. The AARP is loudly against this. Consumers Council, poverty law centers all over the country. This hurts poor and rural Americans. And any of you folks who live out in Sanger country or in any of the outlying areas, you know how hard it is just to get cable into your house at $200 a month so you can watch Sopranos reruns. Imagine if you don't have a mandate for copper wire to come to the house, especially since there's a lot of copper wire that's already been laid down. So if you don't like this, contact your congressman. Let him know. Do not put this through. And I want to know who squeezed this into the ag bill, because the House Agricultural and Natural Resources Committee absolutely should not be making decisions about public utilities. The number here is 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. You can also join the show on Twitter and Facebook at KMJ Now. Right now, Mike in Fresno, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Philip, I got you off Bluetooth.
Thank you, sir.
Is it okay to say names, internet provider?
Go ahead.
Okay. I have a free internet, SBC Global.
Got it.
My internet was hacked, my email was hacked. Mm-hmm. They sent out one of those things that said I was in a foreign country and in trouble, send money. And then they erased all my contacts, and I now have I don't get those emails anymore, anything from that address. I went to the help thing, of course, and they said I would have it back probably in 7 to 10 days anyway, nothing. So
okay.
Is there any hope?
Any hope of recovering your lost contacts?
Yeah.
The provider may be able to dig them up for you. If they've been deleted from your account and you don't have a backup somewhere, as far as you're concerned, they're gone. But the provider might be able to get them for you.
Well, and what about control of my email address back?
As far as that goes, yeah, the provider should be able to lock the account, change the password, and supply it to you. You've just got to get on the phone with them. You're not going to be able to do it online at this point because whoever hacked it and stole that password, they've changed your passwords, they've changed your security answers. You've got to call with your bill in your hand and give them the account number, the social security number, the whole song and dance.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, thanks, Philip. Enjoy listening to you and Chris also, by the way. Good luck on your show.
Michael, thank you very much. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858 if you'd like to join in. This is the Philip Teresi Show. I don't like that. I'm just going to keep saying Philip Teresi on KMJ. 1248 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Hometown Heroes coming up tonight at 6 p.m. And after top of hour news with CBS, the restaurateurs are back with your host, Blake Taylor. And we'll be back in just a minute on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Now that the weather is cooling down, there are new possibilities of cooler weather activities to engage in. It's not too hot to go on walks, to get in a little exercise, or take the kids to the zoo or playland, or even hiking Half Dome. Choosing what to do to stay active is just as important as choosing a doctor to help you to continue to do the things that you like. Sante Community Physicians can help you do just that. Continue to do the things that you like and help you reach your healthcare goals. Sante is French for to your good health, and it's the perfect word to describe the partnership between you and your doctor. Sante Community Physicians is the largest group of physicians serving more than 100,000 of your neighbors, friends, and coworkers in Fresno, Madera, and Kings counties. Learn more about Sante Community Physicians, Central California's premier group of physicians and healthcare providers at santehealth.net. That's SANTE health.net. Sante Community Physicians, committed to your good health.
This thing called sleep apnea is now so widespread and so potentially dangerous, everyone needs to be aware of it 24/7. And here in Central California, we're so blessed, we're so lucky to have one of the most prominent doctors honored nationally in the field of research and the treatment of sleep apnea to be found anywhere in the United States. Dr. Weldon Szczepanski at the California Sleep Center. This is a one-stop center on this disease, which, believe me, can add a few years onto your life. I know, I've been there, I've done that. I've suffered from sleeping disorders all of my entire life, and then, of course, in 2001, I had that big stroke. And I know, in my heart of hearts, there was an absolute connection. Even if you snore, you need to see Dr. Szczepanski at the Central California Sleep Center. There is often a connection between snoring and sleep apnea. Insurance accepted. Offices in Fresno and Visalia. The Central California Sleep Center, 577-6673. Sleep centers are popping up everywhere, but remember, there is only one Dr. Weldon Szczepanski. Call, make an appointment, and just plan to live longer.
From our family at Irritech USA to you and yours, we wish you all a safe, healthy, and happy holiday season. We hope that you will find some time to relax and enjoy special times with your loved ones after such a busy year. At Irritech USA, our motto is don't wait for rain. And with the water shortages we experienced in 2014, many of you invested in our drip irrigation systems. Thank you. Thanks to your support, we have quickly grown our Central Valley production facility and continue to create jobs in our community. Our production lines operate 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. We always have the inventory you need. We hope that 2015 will be another prosperous year for Valley farmers and farm families. This holiday season, Valley products are gracing festive tables all across the world, and we are proud to help. On the web at irritecusa.com. Happy holidays, and don't wait for rain.
It's time to be honest with yourself. You've been losing money in your investment accounts, haven't you? Are you nervous about your investments and the current direction they may be headed in? Of course you are. Listen, nobody's going to step in and fix this for you. Maybe it's time for you to make a change. Larry Holliday and Tom Diaz of RBC Wealth Management, located conveniently in Fig Garden Financial Center, have over 50 years of combined investment experience. Larry and Tom are both actual certified financial planners and financial advisors and will give you personalized wealth management advice designed specifically for the unique market conditions we live in today. For more information, give Larry or Tom a call today at 447-8236. That's 447-8236, or visit HolidayDiaz.com. Larry Holliday and Tom Diaz, working to help you achieve your financial goals. RBC Wealth Management, a division of RBC Capital Markets, LLC, member NYSE/FINRA/SIPC.
Philip Teresi, Saturdays 11 to 1 on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ, where your calls and tweets are welcome.
Oh my God, 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 oh my God.
Oh, my God.
The number 490-5858. Tweet us at KMJ Now.
Live, local, and on it. It's Philip Teresi.
Philip Teresi.
On News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
12:53 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. I am Philip Teresi. We got just a couple of minutes left this hour. The restaurant tour is coming up after CBS News at the top of the hour. And Hometown Heroes, if you're looking for that, it'll be back tonight, 6 p.m. at its new time, 6 o'clock. Hometown Heroes with Paul Leffler on KMJ. I hope you enjoyed what we've done so far today. This was my first own show. I've been filling in and helping out at KMJ. And, of course, I've been the producer of the Chris Daniels Show for almost 5 years now, and it's been a lot of fun, but an opportunity presented itself for me to take over this time slot, and I'm glad I did. Hopefully you're glad I did. I'd be more than happy to check out your feedback. You can find the station on Facebook at KMJ Now and on Twitter at KMJ Now. You can also find me on Twitter and Facebook. I'm going to make you dig for that. Just a couple of minutes left here, and something positive, I think. In the wake of the Uber privacy scandal, Lyft has announced data restrictions. Ride location data is going to be restricted to an even smaller group of people than it was before. If you guys didn't see it, a BuzzFeed journalist revealed that an Uber executive had floated the idea of using Uber's God mode to snoop on journalists who write negative things about Uber. So Lyft went the other direction. They changed their policy to prevent most employees from doing something similar. Erin Simpson, a Lyft spokeswoman, told Ars Technica in a statement by email that the company's longstanding policy prohibits employees or contractors from accessing any user personal information except to the extent such use is necessary to do their jobs. As of Thursday, the company's proactively made additional updates to further safeguard our blah, 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 blah. Lyft is not going to be Uber, and they're not going to grab your personal information so they can harass you if you leave them a bad review. That Uber thing was a high-level executive speaking out of turn, and it was a stupid thing to say. But it's exactly what everybody's afraid of, that these companies are going to turn their baleful gaze on private citizens and take advantage of all the information that you freely share. By the way, you do have the option to not use the service or share your information with them and do something uncouth or unkind. You want to read more about that, arstechnica.com. In the wake of the Uber privacy scandal, Lyft announces data restrictions. So that does it for me today. I'm going to get out of here. This was all right. Again, if you want to comment on the show, facebook.com/KMJ Now or on Twitter at KMJ Now. My name is Philip Teresi, and we will do this again next week, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday morning on KMJ. Thanks again to Blake Taylor, Patty Hickson, and, of course, Chris Daniel, the local man who received a large bronze head, the Ronald Reagan Award for Service, courtesy of the Sunbirds. Congratulations on that, Chris. I hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks for being here.